everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a full face of one brand, and in today's video I am featuring the brand E.L.F. I'm sure many of you guys have heard of E.L.F. They are a very affordable brand. You can pick them up at CVS, Walgreens, Target, Walmart, Ulta. The list goes on and on. E.L.F. has been around for a while now, and they've always offered really great products for a great price. They keep it very simple on the packaging so that they can save the consumer money. I am doing a full face in today's video, and I'm also happy to say that this video is in partnership with E.L.F. And thank you to E.L.F. for being my partner on this video. I'm very excited. I'm gonna try on all these products, share my thoughts with you along the way. And before we jump into the full face, I am going to give you guys a little bit of information about the brand E.L.F. E.L.F. actually stands for eye, lip, and face. So their motto is, your originality is our inspiration. From full-on maximalists to fresh-faced minimalists, we have a product for everyone and every look in between. Now also, E.L.F. is cruelty-free and vegan-free, and they're cruelty-free worldwide, which is pretty awesome. They've been around for a while now, and I have found some really great hidden gems along this brand. So let's go ahead and jump into the full face. I'm going to test out and play with all of these products, share my thoughts along the way, and then of course I will jump into my final thoughts later on the video, so I will see you guys then. So let's go ahead and jump into this full face of E.L.F. So I'm going to first start with the putty primer. This is the Poreless Putty Primer. Apply a thin, even amount to moisturize skin prior to makeup application. Allow it to set for 30 seconds before applying foundation. This is what it looks like. And I just picked up some here with my nail. I'm just gonna rub that in to that T-zone area. There are some differences between this Tatcha Silk Canvas and this. It's got a slip to it. Feels much more hydrating, in my opinion, than the Tatcha Silk Canvas. It does kind of blend into the skin and feel silky, but I wouldn't say that it's a dupe for the Tatcha Silk Canvas. I would say it's probably more similar to the hydrating Tatcha Silk Primer. This one is more hydrating and has more of a slip to it than the putty does from Tatcha. So, but this feels really nice though. I mean, it blends into the skin really easily, and it does kind of like smooth the area out, and it melts right into the skin. I am going to be using this sponge trio from E.L.F. This is the Retro Paradise. It came with this one, and a small one, which you guys know that I always use a small beauty sponge to blend in my concealer. So these two are perfect. They're a little bit more porous than I prefer. I prefer something a little bit more spongy versus porous, but these are both pretty porous, but I'm going to use them today. They feel very soft, so I'm definitely excited to try them. But I am going to use the Flawless Finishing Foundation. I have it in two shades. I have the shade Toffee and Suede, and I think they're both a little dark for me, but I do have self-tanner on my face, so hopefully it'll work. These retail for $6. So it looks like this comes in 40 shades. It's a highly blendable formula that goes on smooth as silk, providing medium to full coverage and weightless all-day wear. Added perks, it's oil-free and supercharged with glycerin to hydrate and soften the skin. The lightweight liquid foundation that naturally blends into the skin. It's a semi-matte finish, and it's a buildable, blendable color, and it's supposed to improve uneven skin tone and texture. Suede is described as a medium tan with golden undertones. Pretty golden, but ooh, she's straight up yellow, right? Yeah, so that's like straight up yellow. And then this is Toffee. And Toffee is described as medium with pink undertones. I'm actually going to use Toffee. I think this one is just way too orange for my skin. I think I'm going to use my Smith 115 brush. I'm going to give it a good shake, and I'm going to put some here on the back of my hand. And I'm going to grab the Smith brush and just start applying it. Right away, I can kind of see the pink undertones in this one. But I think it was better than the really strong golden. Normally I wear golden undertone foundations, but that was way too golden. So this is a very thick foundation. It takes a minute to kind of be able to spread it around the skin. I'm going to put some here on the sponge, and then I'm going to use the sponge to kind of push this into the skin. It's a really thick foundation, so you do kind of have to really push it into the skin. And for me, because it's a thicker foundation, I'm not really able to use a brush only. Like, I have to use the sponge to kind of push this into the skin. But it is really looking beautiful. Like, it is kind of smoothing my skin out and kind of blurring out all of my imperfections, and it looks really pretty. I actually quite like this. For $6, you guys, this is really pretty. And it's laying really beautifully over my wrinkles and over all the texture that I have right here. Now, of course, I don't know how it wears, but so far, this is really pretty. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to brows. One of my favorite products from the drugstore is this brow pencil from E.L.F. This is called the Ultra Precise Brow Pencil. All the writing has wore off of mine. This is the shade I have, and I think I got this in the shade Neutral Brown or Brunette. I'm not sure which one. I think it's Neutral Brown, but I actually really like this formula. This was a pencil that I was using quite often for a while because it is really small. You can see the tip of it. It's really, really small, and it creates just easy strokes to kind of fill in those areas. I actually really like this pencil. It's been a favorite for a minute. And this pencil retails for $5. Super, super affordable. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and fill my brows really quick, and I will be right back. Look how easy that was. And what I like about this is it gives you instant pigment. So you don't have to push too hard and then you get too much. You just get like the perfect amount. I've always really liked this pencil. One of my favorites, highly recommended. Let's move on to the eyeshadow. So recently I picked these up. I've used this one and kind of swatched it. These are called the Bite Size Eyeshadow Palettes. They come in 8 different color combinations and they're $3. I know, pretty cool, right? This one is called Berry Bad. So this one is definitely those like pinky kind of mauve-y tones. So this is what Berry Bad looks like. This top shade, which is this shade right here, kind of blends into my skin so you can't quite see it, but it might work on the crease. But that is what Berry Bad looks like. This one is called Pumpkin Pie, and this one is definitely just a really pretty kind of coppery brown palette. Really pretty colors though. I mean, these are so pretty. Definitely fall kind of vibes. And then this one is called Cream and Sugar. And then this is Cream and Sugar, and you can kind of see the variation of tone here. I kind of want to incorporate the mattes from this palette, which is the Berry Bad, with this palette, which is the Cream and Sugar. They're $3 each, so I don't mind kind of mixing and matching. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. Those are just such beautiful tones. So I'm gonna take a blending brush, small blending brush. I'm gonna grab this shade and the Berry Bad. I'm gonna sweep that right here in the crease. Overly pigmented, so I'm not tapping off. Normally when I apply eyeshadow, I go in and kind of tap off the extra from the brush, but because this is such a light shade, and you know, I'm like a medium to tan skin, it's almost like I need as much pigment as I can get. Now I'm going to take the Esom number 27 brush, and I'm going to grab this dark shade right here. I'm going to bring that here on the outer corner. Look at that pigment, you guys. So there's good and bad about that shade. It looks really dark in the pan, but it's not as dark when you apply it. So you kind of want to build that pigment, like you want to apply it multiple times if you want to maintain the depth, because it does kind of blend away, but for being $3, this is a pretty good pigment. I have used some horrible pigments even in the luxury category. So this is actually working better than I expected, to be quite honest with you. Okay, for the lid, I'm going to grab this shade right here. I'm going to press that right here on the center of the lid. So this is applying it dry, and it's working out really good. I'm going to wipe the brush off, and I'm going to grab the Cream and Sugar palette, and I'm going to grab this shade right here. And I am going to bring that, oh shit skis, you guys, that shade is super pigmented. Like, it is white. Might be a little bit brighter than I was hoping. So I'm going to go into the gold right next to it and kind of tone it down just a little bit, because it is much brighter than I expected. Yeah, so that toned it down. Oh, that actually, these two together, I mean, that's actually a really pretty color combination. Okay, I'm gonna go back into this one really fast, kind of pull it back. I got a little bit of fallout, but not like a ton, but I did get some fallout. I went ahead and finished this. I threw on some brown eyeliner. Now let's move on to the concealer, and then I'm going to buff out this line once I put some shadow on the lower lash line. Let's move on to the concealer. This is the Hydrating Camo Concealer. This is a satin finish, but it is one of their like best sellers. Very well known. Everybody seems to really enjoy this concealer. This retails for $6, and it is described as a long wear liquid concealer that provides crease-proof full coverage while hydrating your skin. It's an all-day wear, large doe foot applicator, great for normal, combination, and dry skin. So this comes in 25 different shades. So I have 2 shades here. I have medium warm and I have medium beige. So this is medium warm and this is medium beige. This one has a peachy undertone, so I'm going to use medium warm. I'm going to wipe off the applicator as much as I can. Because I like to drag my concealer down in this area, I like to wipe off the applicator so that I don't put a big glob of concealer on. So I've wiped off the applicator, and I'm going to use just what's inside the sponge. And I am going to spread this down and around here. And I'm going to use it on both sides. So I'm really technically not applying a lot. It looks like I am, but it's really not a lot because I've wiped off the applicator. And I'm just using the applicator to kind of spread the concealer out. Okay, so now I'm just going to take the sponge and blend that in. Ooh, she's a pretty concealer. I don't know how it's going to wear, but did you see how smooth everything became? Like, that is a really pretty concealer. So I'm going to wear these all day. I won't have time to come back and do check-ins, before I wipe my makeup off, because I'm actually leaving on vacation tomorrow. So I will not have time to do that. I've got 1,000 things to do. However, I will pin a comment letting you know how the foundation wore, how the concealer wore, how the actual eyeshadow wore, did it wear off. all of that. So I will definitely kind of give you the rundown in the comments section down below. But I can tell you that these look really beautiful. Right now it's around 11 a.m. So I'm going to be able to wear these all day, and my skin is looking great. My under eyes are looking good. Like, everything is just coming together really pretty. I'm kind of impressed right now. So I'm going to take that E.L.F 27 brush, and I'm going to go into this shade right here. And I'm going to put that on the lower lash line. Then I'm going to take my Sigma Flat Definer brush, and I'm going to grab this shade right here. I'm going to smoke that into the outer corner. I'm also going to do that on the upper lash line, like right here at the base of the lashes. Now I need to break up this line. So I'm just going to take a clean, more stiff brush and just kind of break this line up. Okay, let's move on to the mascara. So I have this, which is the Mineral Infused Mascara. I wanted to get the new mascara that they just launched, but I couldn't find it at my local drugstore. So this is black, and this is what the wand looks like. Nice wand on it. So you can pick this up for $4, and it is a reformulated for improved performance. I'll definitely let you guys know if this transfers throughout the day, but I'm excited to try it. The mascara works pretty well. It kind of clumps them together a little bit, so you kind of have to keep a spoolie handy so that you can kind of separate it while it's wet, because it does kind of dry and set. But so far, I'm not in love with the mascara, but I don't think it's like horrible. I've used much worse. Okay, so now that we have the eyes done, let's move on to the face. So I picked this up. This is the Face Duo. It's the bite size. So it's the same size as the eyeshadow palettes, but it has a highlighter and a bronzer color. This is in the shade Coconut. These retail for also $3, just like the bite-sized eyeshadows. So very good price. This is the Coconut palette, and that's a nice warm tone bronzer, and kind of has a little bit of a shine to it. As you can see, it has a little bit of a shine. I quite like that, actually. I'm excited to try it. Let's go into the bronzer and see how this blends on the cheek. Oh, shoot, skis. I went in too heavy. Hold on. Let me try to blend this out. Hold on. Let me grab a clean brush. Okay, so I was able to kind of blend that out with a clean brush, which is good. This is hella pigmented. Whoo, you gotta be careful with this because she is pigmented. You know, a lot of the times it's hard to use bronzers that are super, super pigmented. I prefer a bronzer formula that builds versus a lot of pigment that you got to work to blend out. I'm going to go in and just kind of tap off and see if that helps. I still get a lot. The nice thing is you get a lot of pigment, but you can blend it out. You know, just have a clean brush handy to make sure that you can blend it out. I like the color once I get it blended. It is a nice warm tone bronzer. I would prefer it to be less pigmented for me personally. Now I also picked up two of the blushes in this. I picked up Spice Apple, which is a really pretty color. That's a pretty blush color. And I picked up White Peach, which, I mean, it's peachy and I'm here for it. I'm gonna put Spiced Apple on this side. It's pigmented, so I'm going to tap off. Now I wiped the brush off. I'm going to go into White Peach. Let's go into the peach shade right here. I will go over it with powder and kind of buff this all together. But the only difference between these two shades is this one is a little bit more orange than this, but they are very similar on the skin. This is White Peach. That's the highlight. That's the shade of the highlighter that comes with it. It's really pretty. It is a really pretty peachy highlighter shade. I like that. These two are Spiced Apple. So you can see that Spiced Apple highlighter is a little bit darker. Really pretty. And you can see they're pigmented. Okay, so I went ahead and powdered and kind of buffed everything together. The bronzer looks a lot better once I put some powder on and kind of buffed it all together. And the blush looks really pretty. The foundation still looks beautiful. I don't have any complaints about this. And it is not drying. It's a very natural foundation. So far, the foundation is kind of impressing me. So is the concealer. Concealer's really pretty too. Okay, let's go ahead and put on the highlighter. I think the highlighter from the Spiced Apple might be too dark for me. So I'm going to put on the highlighter from the bronzer palette and this White Peach. Let's put the White Peach on this side. So I'm going to grab that. Ooh, she's sparkly. Definitely got some pigment. It's a very strong highlighter. Let's go into this one in the Coconut palette. Now this one is more of a topper type. This one in the Coconut palette has more of a glitter texture. It's got more of a glittery topper type versus this one is just a straight highlighter, like a metallic highlighter. So you can kind of see the difference in thickness. I got way too much on my face. Way too much. So that highlighter is personally not my favorite, but you know, for those that like glitter, I feel like it's just like a big glitter, like a bomb of glitter blew up on my face. The one from the Peach palette is a traditional highlighter where it's got the metallic texture to it, but I think this one's a little bit too light for my skin. So I would say the highlighters are a no-go, but the blush is really pretty. And now that I was able to like put some powder on and kind of buff everything together, I think the bronzer turned out really pretty. You just have to be careful with it because it's so pigmented. So I went ahead and picked up one of the shades in the Seriously Satin. Again, I really wanted to try the Jen Atkin lippies, but I couldn't find them. So these retail for $3. They have 10 shades. So this one is in the shade Nectar. It's a little warm for the makeup look that I'm wearing, but this is a pretty shade. It's a really pretty peachy, and it's pigmented. I mean, look at this. That is pigmented. For $3? That's pigmented. That's a pretty color. I really actually like that. Okay, so I also picked up the lip exfoliator. This is described as a holy grail on their website. And this retails for $4. So it's got nice packaging. It's not magnetic, but it feels pretty nice. I like how it's in the lipstick form, actually. So how you use it, it says gently rub the lip exfoliator over your lips in small circular motions. Wipe gently with a cotton pad and follow up with a nourishing lip balm. It was a little hard to kind of break through, but once you break through that like wax that's kind of over top of it, once you break through, it's easy to kind of scrub it on there. They feel good. I grabbed these two. These are the matte lip colors. This retails for $4. So it comes in 7 shades. I grabbed the shades Berry, Sorbet, and Tea Rose. So this is Berry Sorbet, and this is Tea Rose. Really pretty, huh? Let me try on the Berry Sorbet. I kind of like this color with this makeup look. I think it makes it more summery. It's really pretty. It's a pretty color, right? And it kind of whitens the teeth. I actually really like that color. All right, let's put on Tea Rose. Not my favorite color. It's a look. It would have to be with the right lip liner and with the right eyeshadow. not my favorite color. I'm gonna wear the Berry Sorbet. I think the Berry Sorbet is so pretty. Okay, so this is the final look, and lots to say about these products. Many of them I'm very impressed with. Some I'm like, not so much, but let's go ahead and dive into it. So I want to first talk about the foundation. I think this is the product that I'm most impressed with, to be honest. Like I said, I don't know if it's the foundation or the primer, but something is making my skin look really smooth. And I do think this is a decent primer. It's hydrating. I do feel like it kind of helped in that area, but I would have to try it with other foundations to see if this is a decent primer or not. But the foundation is beautiful, and I actually want to get a different shade in this. Even though I was able to make this shade work, I want to get a different shade and test it out and see, because I actually really like this foundation. I'm kind of impressed with it. Kind of impressed. Because everything just looks super smooth. Like, my forehead is so smooth. Like, despite the fact that I have that crazy highlighter on, it looks beautiful. Out of everything I used today, this is what has impressed me the most. The concealer is really pretty. Scale from 1 to 5, I'd probably give this concealer maybe a 3.5 to 4. I think it's a decent concealer, especially on a budget. This is a nice concealer for the price. It blended in beautifully. It dries and sets down. It's definitely a satin matte finish, but I like the way that it looks. I really do. I think it looks really pretty underneath the eyes. I would not call it a full coverage. I would say it's a decent medium coverage, but I wouldn't say it's a full. This is a pretty concealer. So far, so good. The eyeshadow palettes. I think you guys pretty much overall know how I feel about the eyeshadow palettes. I think these work great, especially if you're on a budget. You do have to build the dark shade in the crease, but I was able to blend it out. You just kind of have to work a little bit harder than you normally do with something that's more pigmented or higher quality, but these are actually really great. Kind of impressed with the overall pigmentation of these, and I like these. These are nice. I'm very impressed. I really am. For $3, you guys, for 4 shades, they are pretty fantastic. Mascara, I don't think I like the mascara. I've had to wipe under here because the black keeps kind of transferring down under here. So I think the mascara is a pass for me, but I am excited to try their new formula. It looks like their new formula is really good and people seem to really like it. So I will try the new formula, but that one I'm not the biggest fan of. These palettes, I think I like this palette the most, this Harvest Peach. And it's not only because it's a peach blush, but it's really beautiful. The blushes are beautiful. And like I said, this coconut palette, I was able to make it work. I mean, I was able to bronze up my skin. You just have to be careful with it because it's so pigmented. But these are really great too. Kind of impressed. For $3, very impressive. Seriously, very impressive. This is the Serious Satin lipstick, and this is in the shade Nectar. Oh, I love that peach shade. It is so perfect. So I'm going to definitely continue to use this. As far as the lip scrub, kind of same thing. Like I said, once you break through it, you're able to get the scrub to kind of come through, and it actually works pretty good. I like how this is in a lipstick form, in a bullet, so that you can just apply it like you would a lipstick. So if you have dry, chapped lips, I would recommend testing this out and seeing if it helps your lips. And I'm kind of obsessed with this color that I'm wearing. I keep looking in the monitor. I'm like, gosh, that's a pretty color. Now, as far as the sponges, I really like these sponges. For the price, you can't beat these sponges. And I'm actually going to take them on vacation with me because they're easy and they do the job, and I like them. I actually like the sponges. I mean, for the 3-piece set, not a bad price for 3 pieces. So sound out down below in the comment section. Let us know, have you guys ever tried anything from e.l.f? What have you tried and what are your favorites? Like, what do you love? Share with us in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me in today's video. Thank you again to e.l.f. for sponsoring this video. I really appreciate your support. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Love you. Bye.